git 1.0. So, in case you are new here, I'm going to be giving you a bit brief introduction about git. So, also for people that are watching from YouTube channel. So, um, git is git full meaning is great in tech. So we are dedicated in helping people to grow up their tech skill, and also to help them in ways which they can set up their profiles on LinkedIn, freelancer sites like Fiverr, Upwork, so they can be able to get job and be able to practice more on their skill. So because trust me, you need to get job, you need to have a job that you are doing for you to learn more about this um, um, about Flutter and Flutter Flow, because we are basically looking at Flutter and Flutter Flow in this tutorial. So so mainly Git is dedicated in helping communities to develop skills and also to help them to secure job in different platforms. So welcome to this channel, and welcome to this Git class of 1.0. So today we are going to be learning about Dart programming language. So Flutter makes use of one programming language, which is Dart programming language. So we are going to be learning about that today. So, and also I sent a link to on the group for you guys to install on how to install Flutter on your machine. So if you have done that, then also if you install VS Code, I'm making use of VS Code. Yeah, so you can make use of Android Studio or VS Code. So I'm making use of VS Code. So and also, so if you have done that, you should open up your VS Code or Android Studio. So if you have not done that, please do go back to the video. I mean to the link that I sent, and go and watch on how you can install that. For people that are from YouTube, if you want me to, you can also search on YouTube to on how to install Flutter. But if you want me to teach you guys on how to do that, please comment on the comment sections. Then I'm going to find time and record a video on that. So first of all, now when you open up your VS Code, if you're opening it for the first time, this is not what you see. Of course, you need to. There will be a pop-up and for you to install the VS Code. Just follow the process, then you arrive at this screen that you are seeing. So of course, on your recent, you can't see any of this. You'll be seeing a blank space here. So this is just walkthrough. If you want to learn about something about VS Code, yeah, anything. So now, so first of all, what we need to do is we want to create a new Dart folder. So now I'm going to open up, like I said, this is the terminal. You need to open up and click on this new terminal. So now, then, so if you are using Windows, of course, this is not how it's going to be. You should see the terminal even without. You should see it inside of this VS Code. So then you be able to click on terminal. Then you come to this part of the screen. So first of all, I need to check my current directory. You can do that by typing pwd. So this is users and Mac. So I will need to list out all the current directory inside of this folder. So the current directory are desktop, all of these things that we see here. So for instance, this is just if you, for instance, let me go to my folder part. So this is the user, which is Mac, yeah, and then these are the things that are there. So which is also the same thing. So we are just navigating through instead of making use of, I mean, just clicking on mouse and stuff like that. So I'm doing that using command line. So using terminal, command line is for Windows. So now I'm going to type. I'm going to navigate to. I want to navigate to Studio Projects. This is the Studio Projects. Yeah. Studio Projects. I'm going to Studio. If I click on tab, it's going to also complete. Then I'm now in Studio Projects. Now let me list out all the files that are currently inside. I have Git class one. This. So these are. Of course, I created this before. So So I'm going to create a new project, which is going to be, I'm going to say dot create um, git class let me just say git class. Yeah, then I'm going to hit enter. So it's going to create a folder with all of these files inside of it. So now it has created a folder, so I'm going to go to that folder. I'm going to open this. Yeah, go to studio projects. Now this is the folder I created, and these are subfolders inside and files. So I'm going to open it. So now this is what we see. Now don't get scared with what you are seeing here. These things that you are seeing here, as time goes on, you understand what all of them are used for. So, but most importantly, we are going to be making use of prospect or YAML, even if you're dealing with that or you are dealing with Flutter. So, prospect or YAML is actually used to add external packages inside your projects. So, packages are just like a program written by other developers. Then, so that probably this program probably, for instance, if you want to upload video or image inside of your project, inside you making use of it inside of your app. So instead of you writing the program, I mean the code from scratch, you can just make use of external package developed by other people. Then you can be able to do that easily using that package. So now, so these are prospect.yaml, prospect.log. You're going to be learning that too. Then also this is the test folder here. So this is just to test our program. So there also, this is lib. So this lib folder here is where we are going to be writing most of, I mean where we are going to be writing our code mostly. So it's not mostly, actually that's where we are going to be writing our code. So this is the file that is inside. If you can see, this is a function here which calculates 6 times 7. The return type is of type integer. So now this is where we are going to be running those functions. So for instance, if I should run this program, if you are on Windows, you look for, okay, you can easily click this part, and then you see run and debug. So if I run this program here, can you see, I see hello world 42, then exclamation mark. So now this print is a function that prints word inside of console. So it prints hello world. Now this dollar sign is to concatenate, which means to concatenate, to join two words together. So to join words together. So git class dot calculate. Then we close this curly brackets and this brackets also. Then so don't be scared with this. These are just, I mean this is just a simple program here. So with time you're going to understand what all of these are for. So most importantly, this is a word of advice or advice to you guys. Please, if you are learning this, even if you're learning any program, any computer program, it is very very important for you to take it as if your life depends on it. If you take it like as if your life depends on it, trust me, with time you get to know it very well, and you realize that these things are actually simple. So as an advice, so now we're going to clean up all of this. We are going to leave the main function out. Leave the main functions. Now, very very important. Now, if you are running any program in Dart or Flutter, it's very very important that you have a main functions. So it's, I mean this is not important to be there. So I'm going to, it's very very, I mean, so it is very very important that you have a main functions inside of your program, because this is what makes your app to run or your program to run. For instance, if I comment this out and I run the program, Now, if you look at the terminal, you'll see an error. It says invoked that program must have main function defined. So because I commented this out, meaning that this comment means that you're telling the compiler to ignore this. So to ignore any code that is written here. So it's ignoring it, and it is important that you have the main functions in your program. So I'm going to uncomment it back. And let's run the program again. So of course we are not going to see anything display on the it's saying executed. This is working well. So the reason is because I cleared the code that was written here. So I'm going to go to my folder now. This is the git class here. So I'm going to clean up this function too. So we are left with a blank project, and also this test. We're not going to be using test here. So I'm going to delete the files inside. So now we are left with a blank project. So now, so the first thing that we need to know is that we need to know about types in Dart programming language. We have different types in Dart programming language, but today we are going to be looking at the main one that you will be making use of it every day in your program when you are writing any program. So now the first type that we are going to be looking at is of type string. So I'm just going to comment. So string, this is a type. We are also going to look at integers, which is int is another type. We are also going to look at bool. This is another type. We are also going to look at another type, which is double. This is another type here too. Lists is another type, of course. So we're going to use that. Map also is another type. So we're also going to look at sets. Of course, this is another type which is not common. It's not that common compared to map, list, double, boolean. So these are types here. So there are still different types here. So that we can triple all of this. I don't need this. We don't need to use this now. So we're also not going to use sets now. So because I don't want this tutorial to be longer than the time I plan it to be. So now we are going to be learning about strings, integer, bool, doubles, list, map. So first of all, let's look at strings now. So strings, how do we use strings? Strings simply is used whenever you want to declare a variable which returns a string type. So for instance, let's say I want to declare a variable of type string, which is name. I can say name, then John. So this is autocomplete. I mean it's an autocomplete AI. It's called Codium. So it's an extension I added to VS Code, which autocompletes. I suggest things I can use. So now this is string of return type. You look at the documentation here. Strings are mainly used to represent text exactly. A character may be represented by multiple code points, each code point consisting of one or two code units. For example, popular new blah blah blah. So if you look at the example, that is single quotes, of course. So meaning they have to, whenever you are declaring a variable of type strings, so it has to have a single quote or double quotes. So something like this. So that's why we have double quotes here, or we can also make use of single quotes. It's not important that we have. So let's say John, this is it here. So now I'm going to print out this declaration that we made here. So print name, then I'm going to put semicolon here. So if you realize that we had semicolon here, we also have semicolon here. Meaning whenever you write a simple declaration, you need to have semicolon. Semicolon needs to be at the back of it, else it's not going to. For instance, if I should remove it, what is it saying? It said expected to find semicolon here. So I'm going to put that. So now let's run the program here. Now can you see we have John? So this is John. And also, if you notice, I told you that we are going to be running our code inside of, we are going to be writing whatever we want to do inside this um, lib folder. Now, the reason why I'm writing it here inside of the main function is because I'm not actually dealing with maybe functional classes. So, and so this is just a simple declaration. I mean, a simple declaration of strings, all of this, some types in that's programming language. So that's why I'm writing it here. So now you can see in our console we have John printed out, so which means this is the name carrying this John. So we can also have so if you type anything also here, John Doe, okay, yeah. So if I should run the program also, can you see we have John Doe printed out. So and also I can also run there are some functions that comes with strings. Maybe you want to change it to, you want to make the whole name, like we have here, we have John Doe. This is a common casing. Like we have John, the first letter is J, capital letter J, John, and also here first letter is, but if you want everything to be in lowercase, so these are functions that comes with string type. So, or I would say method rather, because string is a class itself. If you look at it, it says abstract class strings, which implements comparable strings, and pattern. So strings is a class, an abstract class. So and anything functions that comes in that is inside of a class, we call them method. So also, of course, you don't need to. I mean, you don't need to stress your brain to understand this now. Later you get to understand them when we enter, when we start um, using classes and functions. So now let's say if I should click on this and convert it to a lowercase and run the program, you see what will happen. So can you see everything is now in lowercase? So those are methods that we can perform with strings. There are other ones that we can perform with strings, like run matches, code units, compared to, contains, ends with. So this ends with is going to, of course, is going to be of type. The return type will be boolean, which is, let me make use of it now. Yeah. So if you say name dot end with, so we want to check if this name, this declarations that we declared here ends with a letter. So for instance, if you check the example that was given here, string, that is open source. Then print string does end with URC this thing, and then when you printed it out, run it, it shows that it's true. Meaning that there is this word UR, all these letters here are present in it. So for instance, let's look at our own here. So I'm going to then put it inside of inside of I'm always forgetting this sign. What is it called? Quotation mark. Yeah, quotation mark. So let's say we want to check if, okay, so now we have this, which is do. Let me say do. Now let me run the program. We should get a value which is true. Can you see this is true? Meaning that we have do present inside. And also let me say D, capital letter D. So which means ends with, okay. Now this ends with, meaning that the word here, which is, doesn't end with D, which is false. So now let's say it ends with, let's return E. Let me say E and then run the program. Can you see it's true? Because E ends this, so that is true. So we can also, we have another which is called start with. For instance, start with should be there. Start with C. So there's a pattern which, if you check the example too, also here you can see this. So so it takes a pattern and also an optional parameter which is index of, you need to know this. I mean, you will know this, but as time goes on, because I don't want you to get confused. So let's say start with semicolon. I mean quotation mark rather. So let me just J and all the code is going to be true, of course. So it starts with J, or let me say A. A, of course, this should be false. So can you say it's false? So we have other things that we can also do. If you want to check if also it contains some words, if the words here, this string contains some words, so I can say contains. So if you look at the also the documentation also on how you can use it. So I'm going to be using it contains, and let me say n. I want to check if this is like you are checking if this word here, if it contains and run the program. This is going to be true. Can you see? So let me say if it contains the z is of course is not inside of this, so if I run it should be false. Can you see it's false? So these are to check for some some use cases, I mean, that you probably must have defined in your program. So you might not find this really kind of useful now, because this is just a simple declaration of strings. So but as time goes on, if you are running if you are writing a program that needs to do something, especially if you need to filter a list of names of people, so and you need to filter them based on the filter them based on alphabetical order. So you can do this, or you need to check for some things, for some people name that starts with Z or starts with A or anything like that. So this is where you can find all of these things very very useful. So this is about strings. So now I have this name here. Let me just call it full name. Full name. Okay, of course this is full name. Or okay now. Okay, let me just comment this. I'm going to comment this out. So now I'm going to have another declaration here. I'm going to say strings, because I'm dealing with text now. String first name is equal to John, then strings last name is equal to Doe. Yeah. So now then I want to strings full name. Oh, like my this is actually suggesting this for me. So what this means is that we are concatenating two strings together, meaning you're adding them together. So these are ways that you can concatenate them together. So for instance, I'm going to print this project first, print this code rather. I'm going to print full name out, full name, then semicolon, and run the program. Now you can see it prints John Doe. Now remember I've commented this out, so this is okay. Let me just change this to my name Daniel. So I'm going to run the program. Now can you see Daniel Olariwaju here? So meaning what this is doing is that now we have a declaration here, which is first name, which is we gave it Daniel, the last name, which is Olariwaju, then the full name, meaning is going to take this first name plus a space here. We added space, which is the space that you can see here, plus last name. Let's say for instance I remove this space and just give it this full name plus last name and run the program. Can you see it joins, everything is together? So that's why we added the space. So now for run the program again, now can you see the space here? So this is of course this is a way of concatenating two strings together. There is also a better way that you can concatenate. I mean, we make use of that even most times. So what you can do again is that you can just, let's clean up this strings. Now you can see this extension is suggesting it again for me here. So this is what I need to do. If I should each tab is going to auto complete this, meaning that we added this dollar sign. So this dollar sign is saying we added the first name, there is a space here, So anything that is inside here, you can see that we have this quotation mark, single quotation mark here. So meaning that we are still inside of this strings, this test here. So uh, this dollar sign is to get these variable declarations, and also this one too, which is the last name. And if I should run the code, and you see we have this, because there's a space here too, so we have this Daniel Lariwaju. And there's also another way which I can do this. I mean, this is not, I mean, it depends on ways which you can use this. So it's not important that you follow the same thing, I mean, one single approach. So for instance, I can have this, I can have this inside of curly brackets, and then put dollar sign at the back here. So then I can say first name, or first space, and then last. Okay, this is when okay, so maybe if I want to convert it to the uppercase or another thing here. So let me just, okay, I'm going to, okay, let me just ignore this first name. So, and also have a space here, dollar sign, also, and last. So now if I print it, of course it's still going to be the same thing. Now the reason why I did this is, let's say for instance I want to check something here in the last name, and also the first name and the last name. So if I, for instance, so I told you like what we did with name here, we can also do that inside of this place. As you can see, let me if I put dot, I press dot on my, then I can be able to, this VS Code is going to suggest the things that I can still do with this first name. I can check contains, if you contain some words, like I mean some letters or anything, even if it's word. So example, all of those things I can easily do them using this curly bracket. So I can replace some words, substrings, I can trim it, I can trim left. So, and I can also check if it's empty. So this is now checking this if it's empty. If I should run the code, so this is going to say false, the result should be false, and the last name should be printed. So can you see false and last name is printed out? So for instance, like the other time we have this, I'm going to comment this out and show you another thing here. So where we have I can say string full name that we have there here. Can you see this? So this also too, you can do some check here also. So string starts with all of this thing. You can do some check here also. You can do some things with strings. So, and also let me close this, and so for instance I have, okay, this thing here. So if I, for instance, if I should click on, if I hit dots here, it's not going to have any effects. The reason because this is not, like for instance, if you look at what is here and what is here, this is having a semi, I mean curly bracket. So this dot is not having any effect. So it's just taking dots, as if you print it out, it's going to just add the dot at the back. I say here. So if you need to do some logic with your strings, then you need to wrap it inside of a curly bracket here. Then you can be able to perform the check, I mean any logic you want with your strings. So you don't need to really, I mean you don't need to fully understand this now, but as time goes on you will get it. So that's about strings for now. So I'm going to the lecture is already taking so much time. So we are going to, real quick, we are going to look at integers. So I'm going to comment this out also. So we're going to look at integers. So let's say we have int x equals to 10. So you put this, so this is an integer, and I'm going to have another y is equal to 20. Then I'm going to say sum. Okay, integer sum is equal to x plus y, and I'm going to print the sum out. So I'm going to print this out. So this is a simple calculation that we are doing here. So let's print it. Let's run the code. You can use the 30. So which is 10 plus 20, which is 30. Can you see? So now this is how you can write integers. This is a just digits here. So I'm not going to be going so much inside. We can also do some also we can also have some methods inside to round it up to string to integer to doubles, and there are so many things that we can do with this integer also. So I'm not going to do that now because of time. Then also I'm going to that now we are going to write a bool type now. Bool no, okay. Let's look at, before that we are going to look at doubles, because doubles and integer can be confusing if you don't know them. So let's say pi, okay, for instance pi is 3.4. So if you look at this is the difference between this and this is the dot, which is decimal points. Doubles has decimal point. You can make use of double as decimal points, which is, and if for instance if I should add double point 0 to this, now you can see it's saying given a error which states that a value of type double can be assigned to a variable of type integer. So this variable is taking an integer. Can you see? So we are assigning a double type to it, so it's not going to work. So I'm going to just cancel it. So now this is how you declare a double. So for instance this is pi 3.4, which has a decimal points at the back. So I can also define another double. Let's say double um, um okay, area is saying which is pi square. Okay, so but I'm not doing that. Double let's say x okay, because I've defined x already somewhere else, so I can't use that. A is equal to 20. Now you will say okay, we should get an error, of course, because this is of type integer, it's carrying integer. This is, now it's saying double here, so it's integer, and a is of type double. So now we can't get an error because double can take both integer type and also a double type. But if now let's print out a and say, I'm going to run the program. So can you see now automatically, now this is 30 because it's printing out this first one. I'm going to run the code again. Now in the console we did not add point 0 at the back here. We did not add it, but when you are printing it out it's saying 20.0, so it automatically adds this point 0 to it, which is of double type. So you don't need to add 0, or you can add 0. If I should run it again, it's still going to be the same thing here. So that's that for double. So I don't want to spend too much time. So now let's look at integer, type integer now. I mean rather boolean. Say bool is boy equals to true. For instance, I'm saying okay, is boy is equal to true. So is boy, we are not sure of this person's gender. So this person can either be boy, which is, maybe the person is boy, it's going to be true, and the person is not boy, is going to be false. So bool is generally for checking if value is either true or false. For instance, if you say it's going to rain, so we are not sure if tomorrow, let's say tomorrow, we are saying okay, tomorrow is going to rain. We are not sure if it's going to rain. So you are not, when you are not sure of something, so that's when you make use of bool, of course. So that's that about boolean. So as time goes on, you get to understand how to use all of these types. So Now if I should print is boy, of course if I should print it out is boy and then run the code. So now this is running, of course. That's why I have 2.20.0. And if you look at it here, the type that we gave, we declare it as true, which is true. Yeah. So if I declare it, if I give it a value of false, also going to print false here. So that's that. So now we're going to look at also we've looked at strings, we look at integer, bool, doubles. We're going to look at lists. We need to look at map, the last part. So for instance, let me say I have a list. Now I want to declare a list, so I'm going to, the keyword is list. Now this is suggesting a code for me here. So if I'm going to auto complete this. Now let me explain what this is. List of subtype strings, and we declare it as name, and this is the value here. So whenever you are declaring a list, you will always have this box brackets to it. So then you add your, now this list here is taking strings, which is strings here. This is a string, like I told you. Whenever you have this quotation mark, wrapping something inside of quotation mark is strings. So this is strings, and this is also another strings. And if you notice, we have a comma here, so meaning that it states that this is another strings here, another strings named here. So this is John Doe. Let me just remove this, and John, okay, Jane Doe and John Doe. Okay, let me just leave it at Jane and John. And then we can also add another one to it, which is another string to it. You can say Doe, or another list to it, another one which is, say, let's say for me. So this is this is list of names inside of it. So let me print out this list out. So names. So and then I run the code. Can you see we have John, Jane, Doe, Fumi. So let me comment this once out and run it so that we can just have focus on the list. So we have John, Jane, Doe, and Fumi. So this is the list. So this list, we are saying that this list should only take strings. So it is important that this list takes, this list cannot take any other thing than strings. That's what it means here. So for instance, if I should change this here and remove it and make it a bool, a double type or bool type, a double, like we know, I told you that double has dots, decimal point in it. This is of type, this is double here, 20.0. Or if I should just leave it with 20, this is integer. So if you look at the error now, it's saying that this element, the elements type integer, can't be assigned to list of what, strings. So because that is a specific type specific programming language, you need to define its type. So if you don't define its type, then it's not going to, it's not going to work. So you need to define its type. So that is why this is showing an error. So because we already declared this name to only take list of type strings, and we are not giving it a value here which is 20, so it's not going to work. So until we satisfy this by just giving it any other a string type. So can you see now there's no error? So that's that. So but if you want to change the type also, I want this list to only take of type integer now. So if you look at this now, all of these values that we have here, they are giving error, which is, if you look at it, it's saying that the element type strings can be assigned to a list of type integer. So this list is expected to take an integer now, but we are giving it a string type. So until we change it to okay, I'm not going to change it here. I'm going to just leave it back to strings, and I'm going to just control command C and command V So to paste this out again and change this to integer, so this, and then I'm just going to rename it to be age yeah, ages. Okay, so I'm not going to be their age. Then also, so this is expected to take um, of course, to take integer type. So I have to put 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, and so on. So can you see now we are not getting any errors? So if I should print these ages out also, now let's run the program and you'll see ages. Can you see now? So that's how we make use of list also. Now let's look at the last part. So we are going to look at today, because this time, I mean, time is going already. Taking so long already. We are going to look at map. So now for map, I'm going to also comment this. Okay, I don't need to comment it out. Just comment the print out. So for map, now let's say map. We have a map keyword here. Now this map, we are going to make it to take of types. You should take strings, which is going to be info. Now if you notice here, we have what we called okay, info, and we make use of curly brackets here. So whenever you are declaring a map is always, this is what we use to declare I mean to denote a map. So this is curly brackets. Also set make use of this too. So but let's just have this as map now. So this map we are saying is taking, map only takes, if you look at the documentation, this is map class here, it should take k and v, I mean, which means this means the keyword and the value. So you are defining a keyword and you are giving it a value inside of this map. That's what it means. So now this map, now we are saying is going to be, the keyword is going to be of type strings, and also the values should be of type int or strings also. Meaning, let's say for instance, you want to get the information of a particular user. So now first of all, we'll say this user, of course, will have a name, right? So the first thing is we are going to say the keyword, we need to define the keyword. This keyword, I mean the keyword should be name. Now you put a colon. Now we want to declare the name of the person. Let's say Daniel. So I'm going to use autocomplete here. So we have the name of this person is going to be Daniel, and the age is going to be 20. So this is info. Then also we can add another thing here, which is going to be, let's say, the bio of this person. Bio of this person, also colon, and also we can say this person is this is my bio yeah. So now, meaning that this person's information that we have here, we store here. So the person's, we have a keyword which is name, and the value is Daniel, the age is 20, and the bio is this. So this is how we have we make use of map. Map is used to store keys and values. So meaning especially whenever you want to carry out a survey, of course you write let's say you want to collect the person's name, the person's age, the person's like this, you have bio. So this is how you can make use of map. So I'm going to be stopping here. Okay, let me just print it out, so for you to just say print info. So I'm going to run the code and you'll see now we have the info here printed out. So this is about map for now, so I don't want to get past this time. So we are still going to, in the next coming lecture, we're also going to be talking about, we talk more about this, how we can make use of it, and also we'll be looking at functions. So that's about this about today's tutorial. I hope that you guys enjoy this tutorial. Please find time to look practice all of these things that we've known here. So by next class, then we'll be able to look at functions and look more about this too. So thank you for watching this tutorial, and also for participating in this program. So please, if you've not subscribed, please do that now, and also hit the bell icon to get updates whenever I release a new tutorial. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye bye.